All right, YouTube. Today I have another prefecture coin from the 47 Prefectures series. So this was commemorating the 60th anniversary of the enforcement of the Local Autonomy Law. This one is for Ibaraki. The coin is opposite the case, which is a little annoying. So this one was minted in Heisei 21, so that would be 2009. This is the typical background for all of these coins. It's a product of Japan Mint. Of course, the fun part is always this side where we get to see. So here we have, let's talk about the background first. This is in Mito. We've actually been there. This is a giant plum garden. So they have lots of plum trees, or ume, as they're called in Japanese. All right, where's the edge of this one? Yeah, there it is. So that's kind of fun. We've been here. It's very beautiful. I did some videos about Mito. I'll put them up here. It was a fun place to go. So we have basically three things going on here. Two major things and one little detail in the background. So here at the front, we have H2. So H2 was the first domestically produced rocket in Japan. We have Mount Tsukuba in the background, which is a famous mountain. It's one of the 100 famous mountains in Japan, and for a long time has been a site for pilgrimages. And then here, I'm pretty sure this is supposed to be Tsukuba Science City. I'm going to talk about each one in turn. So actually, let's talk about the Science City first, because that kind of relates to the rocket. So Tsukuba Science City was started in the 70s as a government program basically to concentrate different research agencies and ventures that were publicly funded in one area, and they did it around Tsukuba University. This started in the 70s. Tsukuba held the World Fair in 1985, and currently about half of the public R&D budget is spent in Tsukuba. For a long time, it was a little criticized, especially at first, about not really being a city. This was a farming area. There wasn't really any industry or anything scientific going on when the government decided, you know what, this would be a good place to build all these research centers. So early on, there were lots of complaints about how, we have to understand a lot of these people were from Tokyo and larger cities, and particularly a lot of complaints were filed by their housewives about basically this being a rural area and the things they didn't like about it being a rural area. Now, over time, it developed into a city, and nowadays, if you went there, most people would say, oh, you know, it's a small city. Because it brings in so many researchers and students from other countries, it's also a pretty international area for where it is. Now, there's about 60 government research centers or public research centers there, and about another 240 private ones. Now, one of the big things that they developed and worked on was the H2. Now, the H1 was made with a lot of components that were licensed from the USA. H2, in turn, featured all domestic components. However, it was expensive. Each launch in the 90s cost about 19 billion yen, or 190 million USD. So the cost and also the fact that two of them failed relatively close together led to them being replaced with the H2A, which is currently still in use. And then eventually the H2B. So this is used for bringing up, satellites and things like that. It's not manned. And then in the background, here we have Mount Tsukuba. So I've actually been here. I've climbed it twice. I should link it up here. It's actually pretty fun. Now, it has been a pilgrimage destination since the Henin period. Now, if you look at it, the lower peak is called the male body, and the higher peak is called the female body. It looks like one of them is on top of the other, and that's why I think that early on in Japan, it was associated with fertility and fertility ceremonies. Let's put it at that. I talk more about that in my video about the mountain and hiking it. It's also the shortest of the 100 famous mountains in Japan. And because there's a tramway up, it's probably one of the easiest to go up. Currently, it's the only one of the 100 I've done. I was supposed to do another one in the fall, but just things got busy and I never got to it, and I want to do it this summer. So this coin, like all the other ones in its collection, in its series, the mintage is 100,000, which makes it one of the larger mintages for silver coins from Japan Mint. I hope I've earned your like. If you haven't subscribed, I hope I've earned your subscription. Why don't you go down to the comment section, tell me what you think about this coin. Should they have put something else on there? Should they have put something more along the lines of what's in Mito or Hitachi, which is also pretty famous areas? As you notice, everything's kind of focused around scuba in this coin. The only mention of anywhere else is Mito here with the garden. So tell me what you think. Like, share, subscribe, and I will see you in the next one.